Hi there. Last summer I visited Scotland for a couple of weeks during my summer holiday, and I've still got quite some footage left, including clips of me painting in my sketchbook, so I decided to turn it into 2 travel videos, maybe even 3, because I also want to do one on my Scotland sketchbook drawings. This was a solo trip. I've been on many before, and this country was on my travel list for a couple of years now, because I just love the combination of beautiful nature and architecture. So I was really happy to finally visit this country. My trip started and ended in the capital city, Edinburgh. So this first video will be all about that city. And the next video will be about several places I visited in Scotland, including Pitlochry, the Scottish Highlands, Glasgow, and a beautiful island called Isle of Arran. So I hope you enjoy. Here you can see me climbing Arthur's Seat. You can find it at the outskirts of the city. It's close to the first place I stayed at. This was a university dorm. During the summer, lots of students don't stay here, so there's lots of room for other people. It's almost like a small neighborhood with flats filled with dorms, so it fits a lot of people. It's cheaper as well compared to staying at a hotel. I did have to share the bathroom, but it's easy to get around and breakfast is included in the price. During my stay, I saw groups of exchange students, teachers, musicians, and many more people using this place as a base for their stay in Edinburgh. This trip started a bit rough. Because of luggage delays on the airport, I had to wait 3 days to pick up my luggage, and although that doesn't sound too bad, it did give me quite some stress. But I'm glad I was still able to enjoy the city because there's lots to see and explore. I get why lots of people love spending time here. There are so many historic buildings, captivating streets, kind people, and lots of art to see for free. It's one of my favorite things to just stroll around endlessly and make some stops at museums, art stores, landmarks, and cafes. What I usually do beforehand is marking some spots I wish to see or visit on Google Maps, and I go through that list in the morning to see what I want to go to first and to make it fit into my schedule. You can immediately see which spots are close to each other, and so for me that's an easy way to get around. I was in Edinburgh around late July and mid-August. The city was especially packed in August since there are lots of activities happening during that month. Of course, there are lots of tourists, but people also travel from all over the world to see the fringe shows, the military tattoo show, and in this case, go to an Oasis concert. I visited Modern Art Gallery 1 and the National Gallery. I combined the first gallery with the Water of Leaf walkway. This is a scenic route along the water, and you will come across Dean Village, which is a cute neighborhood with iconic houses, and Stockbridge, which is a really nice neighborhood with a great shopping street as well. I'm not a big food influencer, but I would definitely recommend getting a pie for lunch at Harkness Pies. And if you get the chance to visit Clarinda's Tearoom, that's worth your time as well. That's not in Stockbridge, by the way, but it's close to where I stayed at, close to the university and close to Arthur's Seat. I feel like if you would close your eyes and imagine British culture at its peak, that would be what you will see when you step into the tea room. It's just a combination of British royalty looking at you from every angle in the room, since it's on plates on the wall and on teacups. It wouldn't surprise me if I would see it on the ceiling. I do have a weak spot for these kind of places though. In general, it's looking very lovely, and it's just really nice to spend some time here and having a scone with cream and some tea to enjoy it with. Anyway, I started painting in my sketchbook. During this process, I'm showing some scans as well to give you a better insight into my process. My sketchbook is from Clairefontaine. It's called the Paint On Mixed Media Sketchbook. It has natural sandy shaded paper with a slight rough grain. That's one of my favorite things about it, because accents really pop on the page and make an illustration come alive. I do think the sketchbook is a bit expensive. It's around 30 euros, but this is already my third one since I love using it so much. For the spread, I'm combining some of my favorite things of Edinburgh. For example, I'm currently painting Arthur's Seat, but I also drew the ice truck in front of the National Gallery, the book I was reading during my visit, Dean Village, Edinburgh Castle, and a painting by Samuel Pablo that I saw in Modern Art Gallery 1. For Arthur's Seat, I'm painting sections of the hill with several hues of green. Sometimes I end up using a more sandy color by combining yellow and brown with a bit of olive green paint. I basically use this mixture of olive green as a base, and I will just blend it each time with a bit of brown, white or ochre yellow to have both some cold and warmer shades. And I apply it on the paper and softly blend it together with either a brush or my finger for a soft effect. It might sound a bit difficult, but how I like to describe it is that if you look outside, you will notice that grass isn't just one color green. There will be a part where the shadows fall and a part where the sunlight makes it look lighter, and it's the same with painting this hill. There are many variations of green, and since there are rocks, plants and a walking path, there are many different parts that together make up this hill. I like to add some details with a small brush on top of the background. I would say use a light green color on a darker part and a darker green or brown color on a lighter part to add more contrast between the shades. I like to use gouache paint opaque. It dries quite fast on the paper, but you can also add more water and it will end up looking more like watercolors. And if you want to add more details later on, you can also do it with colored pencils. That's how I like to do it. I ended up rewriting the title in the middle of the pages because I didn't like the Edinburgh font I wrote earlier. So I put a piece of paper in the middle and rewrote it with a black fine liner. And I ended up painting the Scottish flag underneath it. The paint you see me using is by Clarinda. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's the portable red set including 14 colors. I also use some bigger paint containers of the brand Lascaux and paint tubes by Winsor & Newton and Royal Talents. You also see me using several palettes to mix the colors. I got them for a couple of euros at a drugstore or an art store. The one with all the green colors is a travel art set by the brand Etcher. What I love about this one is that you are able to close it, so you can easily bring it with you during your travels, but the paint also doesn't dry out and it stays moist for a long time. Gouache paint can dry up, but you're able to reuse it again if you spray it with water. Distilled water works best since it's very pure water and therefore doesn't contain inorganic salts or other organic substances. So it keeps your paint clean and free from mold. I haven't had any problems with the paint I've mentioned in this video, but I've had some mold problems with paint in small containers that stay moist for a longer time, such as the Himimia Jelly Gouache. By the way, I'm currently painting the Edinburgh Castle. You can see the view from the Princess Street Gardens. My paintbrushes are from different brands. If you're starting out, I would recommend not getting very expensive ones, but get at least one with a tiny brush for details, plus a flat and a round brush. Make sure to clean them with water after every use, at least when you're using gouache, watercolors or acrylic paint like me, and dry them with a cloth. The brushes will soon get ruined if you leave them in water after cleaning them. Trust me, I've made that mistake many times. The brushes I use are either from Sostrane Grene, Etcher, Himimia, Panduro or Pro Art. Brushes with a round tip work well in combination with gouache paint, so if you have to choose, I would recommend getting a set of the white Pro Art polar brushes. They're available in lots of stores in the United Kingdom. Since I live in the Netherlands, I bought them on a website called Jackson's Art. They're affordable and work well for this kind of use. In the original sketch for the sketchbook spread, I meant to add text to go with this book I was reading during my visit to Edinburgh, but eventually I decided to make this illustration of the castle and its rocks a bit bigger, so that's why I decided to leave it out. The sketch helps me with defining what I want to make and to correct the placements of the different elements on the pages, but I'm always leaving room for me to change my mind about things. I've also added my red backpack next to the font of Edinburgh. I think I like my sketchbook spread best if they're really able to capture a travel story, and in this case it feels great to have captured my beloved memories of the city I've loved visiting and hope to return to one day. I hope it will be during autumn because I do think the charm of this place goes so well with that season. I'm painting white frames around the black windows. It makes the windows stand out a bit more. At this point, I just need to add more details, and I have to add the illustration in the right top corner. I think the reason why I chose to do this last is because there are many small details forming one bigger illustration, and I was a bit hesitant about it working out. It could have turned out quite messy. I'm also still learning how to portray food and drinks in a way I like, so that might also be the case why I've been putting it off for some time, but I am quite happy with how it turned out in the end. And this is also the final result of my Edinburgh sketchbook spread. I hope you like seeing some clips of Edinburgh through my eyes and watching the process of my sketchbook painting. Like I said, there will be another Scotland video coming soon, and I hope to share some more sketchbook videos with you in the future as well. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you like watching it, and I hope you like seeing the process of me painting my favorite things about Edinburgh. I hope to see you in the next travel video. Bye!